Located in East Asia, Japan is an island nation surrounded by the sea. Its topography, which stretches more than 3,500 kilometers from north to south, allows for a wide variety of climates. Most of Japan's climate is temperate, but the northern part and southern islands are in the subarctic and tropical zones. 75% of the country is rugged and mountainous, with the population concentrated in coastal plains. Japan's waste management and public cleansing law, originally enacted in 1970 and amended in 1991, stipulates that local municipalities are responsible for waste management. Based on this law, each municipality has implemented and developed its own waste management system according to local characteristics. In this educational material, the role of government and the importance of consensus building with residents in case of the commonly referred to war against waste in Tokyo will be discussed.
街をきれいにしたかったら自分がしないといけないよと。自分の背中を見せないといけないよ。
The case study of Shibushi City demonstrates the effect of source separation on reducing final waste disposal amount.
手島のものは一粒もありません。
The measure against illegal dumping from the case study of Teshima problem, as well as the introduction of inter-municipal waste disposal from the case study of the Osaka Bayside Phoenix project will also be studied. Tokyo is the capital of Japan, with an area of approximately 2,100 square kilometers and a population of approximately 14 million. It is one of the largest metropolises in the world. It is also known as one of the cleanest cities in the world. However, Tokyo endured many hardships on the road to acquiring this well-deserved reputation. A major turning point in the history of Tokyo's waste management was the declaration of war against waste. War against waste refers to the dispute over the treatment and disposal of waste amongst the cities in Tokyo. The role of the government and the importance of consensus building with residents is introduced through the case study of Tokyo. In Tokyo, the waste management became an important issue in the 1960s. During this period, waste was dumped everywhere, including rivers, and the streets were overflowing with untreated waste, resulting in a generation of swarms of flies and mosquitoes. This led to the spread of infectious diseases and other public health problems, especially in urban areas. In the 1960s, Kodo City, one of the cities in Tokyo Metropolitan, hosted a landfill site for most of the waste collected in the cities of Tokyo. The law stipulated that incineration be used whenever possible to improve sanitation. However, since the construction of incineration plants was held up due to opposition from residents, it was not possible to incinerate all of the waste that was rapidly increasing as the population grew. Untreated waste generated in each city was disposed at the landfill site in Kodo City. With more than 5,000 collection vehicles bringing waste to the landfill site every day, traffic congestion and noise were constant in Kodo City. There were many problems at the landfill site, such as odors, swarms of flies and mosquitoes, as well as fire outbreaks. These were all serious problems that were threatening the well-being of the residents of Kodo City. Therefore, Kodo City submitted a letter of inquiry to Tokyo Metropolitan Government and other cities demanding that each city bear its fair share of waste disposal. Tokyo Metropolitan Government and cities agreed to the principle of waste disposal within the administrative boundary, whereby waste generated in each city is not disposed of at the landfill site of Kodo City, but is instead incinerated within the city where it is generated. Several cities accepted the plan based on the principle, and constructions and operation of incineration plants began. Some cities, however, could not proceed with the constructions of incineration plants due to opposition from their residents. For example, Suginami City decided to build a plant without consulting residents living near the proposed site and faced opposition from the residents who had concerns that the proposed plant operation would pollute the air, emit odors, and other pollutants, as well as worsen traffic conditions. Kodo City, where the landfill site was located, escalated the dispute by not accepting the waste from Suginami City to enter the landfill, as in Suginami City the construction of an incineration plant was stalled. Cities that were not permitted to dispose their waste at the Kodo City landfill site were forced to temporarily suspend their waste collection. As a result, large amounts of uncollected waste were left scattered on the streets of those cities. The campaign against the constructions of incineration plants led to a rapid deterioration of the sanitary environment, not only in Kodo City, where the waste was being disposed at the landfill, but also in the cities where the waste was being generated but with no treatment or disposal facility to transport it to. In response to the situation in 1971, the governor of Tokyo declared a war against waste, proclaiming that the looming waste crisis threatens the lives of the residents of Tokyo. He stated that the waste was causing a variety of problems in the daily lives of the citizens, including the deteriorations of sanitation. Discussions between Tokyo Metropolitan government and the residents continued to run in parallel with no sign of progress, and there was no prospect for resolution. The judicial court then ruled that both parties must reach a settlement, and accordingly both parties entered into settlement negotiations. The court heard the opinions of both Tokyo Metropolitan government and the residents and decided to set up a council for detailed discussions on the specific terms of the settlement. Experts recommended by both the government and the residents joined the council. Based on the residents' request as well as a proposal submitted by the Tokyo Metropolitan government, an environmental study was conducted to prepare basic materials for defining the terms of the settlement. In 1974, settlement was reached between Tokyo Metropolitan government and residents, bringing an end to the war against waste. The terms of the settlement underpin the current management of waste in Tokyo. These terms include the following: the planning, constructions, and operation of an incineration plant must be agreed upon by the residents of the surrounding area through public participation in each stage. The plant must be equipped with the state-of-the-art pollution prevention equipment and must make improvements as needed to prevent pollution. The surrounding area must be developed, and the facility must be developed on the premises to directly give back some benefits to the residents of the surrounding area. And residents of surrounding area must be fully compensated in case of damage caused by the incineration plant. At the Suginami incineration plant, waste management is carried out based on the terms of the settlement. An agreement on the plant constructions and operation was signed between the residents, Suginami City, and the incineration plant operator. The agreement stipulated voluntary pollution prevention standards that are stricter than regulatory values, upper limits for the amount of waste to be transported to the plant, and the number of incoming vehicles and incoming and outgoing vehicles routes to and from the plant that take into consideration minimizing impact on local traffic. In addition, a steering council consisting of the three parties has been established to provide a forum for periodic reports on the status of operations, such as incoming waste information and incinerator operation, as well as the results of environmental surveys on exhaust gases and noise. In this way, it was possible to gain the understanding of residents by discussing with them prior to the start of facility operation, obtaining their agreement on the functions and usage of the facility, and regularly disclosing relevant information to them. The plant has devised ways to prevent pollution in accordance with the terms of the settlement. For example, the settlement clause stipulated that the height of the stack should be more than 150 meters to allow for better diffusion of exhaust gases, and a 160-meter stack has actually been constructed. In addition, stricter numerical standards are applied to emissions than those regulated by law. The results of exhaust gas monitoring are disclosed to residents as well. In the event of the possible equipment failure, early measures are taken, such as immediately shutting down the facility operations. The concept of the current Suginami City incineration plant is to blend in with the community and enjoy its trust. The roof and exterior walls are covered with plants to harmonize the facility with the surrounding environment, and the wall colors and tile sizes match those of neighboring buildings. The plant also provides residents with facilities such as hot water facility that utilize the heat generated by the incineration during operation. In order to make the facility more open to the community, facility tours are often held. The Suginami incineration plant was built taking into consideration the surrounding environment and interest of residents, and is still in operation today. It is necessary to consider potential dangers to the residents resulting from the operation of an incineration plant, such as being involved in traffic accidents caused by incoming or outgoing waste collection vehicles, and health risks associated with emissions of exhaust gases, odors, and other pollutants. Even with sufficient environmental measures put in place when such incidents occur, the city government needs to provide adequate compensations to the residents based on the terms of the settlement. Such compensation system helps ease the concerns of the residents and minimize any feelings of distrust they may have against the city government. Currently, many incineration plants have been constructed in the 23 cities of Tokyo, including the Suginami plant, based on the principle of one plant per city. All the plants disclose their progress in achieving pollution prevention standards and other information to the public in the forms of environmental reports on their websites. By proactively disclosing information about the facilities and operations to residents, the plant operators strive to earn the trust of the residents. At steering council meetings, they report on the status of operations and environmental studies and exchange opinions of residents. When rebuilding the plants, explanatory meetings for residents are held to explain the project plan and impact on the environment and to facilitate exchange of opinions. In this way, the government provides its services while obtaining the consent of residents. War against waste created inter-city conflicts because waste generated several cities were imposed on the city that had a landfill site. As a result, each city was required to manage its waste within its own city boundaries. However, the construction of a facility for treatment waste within the city was also delayed by opposition from residents. The agreement of residents is necessary for the construction of such a facility. When planning the facility constructions, it is important to establish a council or meeting early in the process for discussions between the residents, government, and the incineration plant operator. It is also important after commencement of a facility operation to actively disclose information through periodic reports, facility tours, and various other activities. Only through such steady efforts by the government, the consent of residents can be obtained, paving the way for an integrated waste management system in the community as a whole. Shibushi City in Kagoshima Prefecture is a small rural city with an area of approximately 290 square kilometers and a population of about 30,000. The port of Shibushi, a core international port, is located in the southern part of Shibushi City. The port handles domestic and international trade and plays an important role in the region. In Japan, the amount of municipal waste is usually reduced by burning at the incineration plants, and the remaining ashes are disposed at the landfill sites. However, Shibushi City has succeeded in reducing the final disposal amount not by relying on incineration, but by thoroughly recycling waste through source separation of waste. This initiative is called the Shibushi model. An example of source separation for reducing the final disposal amount that does not depend on an incineration plant is introduced here.
何でも庭先で燃やして容量を少なくして中身の見えない黒い袋に入れてゴミステーションに出してねというのが今までの施策だったんですよ。
In 1990, Shibushi City constructed a landfill site. At the time, The city had not yet introduced source separation, so all the waste generated by residents was landfilled. The landfill site was estimated to be full by 2004. The city once considered introducing incineration when the possibility of constructing an incineration plant emerged under an inter-municipal waste disposal plan in collaboration with neighboring municipalities. At the time, however, the issue of dioxin was attracting attention. Dioxin emitted from incineration plants was found to be harmful to the human body. The risks of environmental pollution and its impact on the health of residents were discussed among the heads and officials in charge of the municipalities involved at the time. Furthermore, due to the expected large financial burden associated with the development of an incineration plant, Shibushi City decided not to introduce incineration in the city. In order to use the landfill site for a longer period of time, the city adopted a goal of reducing final disposal waste amount by separating many items from the discharged waste and having recycle companies recycle the separated resources. The residents in Shibushi City bring their separated waste to designated waste collection points managed by neighborhood community associations. Household waste is separated into 27 categories. The categories include kitchen waste, glass bottles, cans, PET bottles, plastics, metals, and ceramics. The method of waste discharge is decided by the shape of the waste and the collection method. For example, plastics are placed in bags to prevent them from being blown away by the wind because they're light. Paper and cloth are tied with string instead of using plastic bags, which contaminate the recyclable materials during the recycling process. Many other items are placed in designated containers to be transported to the recycling center. Such detailed separation is rare in other municipalities, but has taken root in Shibushi City due to the understanding and cooperation of the residents. The accurate waste separation in the city is enabled by the neighborhood community associations, which instruct residents on how to separate waste at each station.
名前書いてないとダメなんですよ。
どこに書いてある？
この後。全部名前が普通ね。ここにある。菊池とか。
これ絶対名前書かなきゃいけない。
書かないとダメです。ということは違反したときにまた持ち主に持って帰る。ここは違反ですよというのを分かってもらってまた勉強してもらわないかん。
指導してもらって分別してそこへ出してます。厳しいです。
だって残されていると近くの人は気になるじゃないですか。名前が書いてないとね、責任が持てますから。
転入されてきた人はですね、そんなことをプライバシーの侵害じゃないかという方もいらっしゃいますよ。地球環境のためですよと言ってですね、そこで転入時に説明時にこう説明するわけですよ。それが一番力が入りますよ、私たちは。そしたらですね、ああそうなんですねって言った。そこから私たちの応援なんですよ。
While there are advantages for such detailed waste separation into numerous categories, there are also challenges. The more items to be separated, the more labor-intensive and burdensome it becomes for the residents. Shibushi City has organized sanitation neighborhood associations formed of residents of each community to ensure source separation, based on the attitude of protecting their own community by themselves. The associations are working on environmental issues in cooperation with the local government with the main objectives of conducting environmental education, establishing reliable waste discharge, and conducting cleanup activities. In Shibushi City, environmental education workshops are held by the government to teach residents how to separate waste and to inform them of local environmental initiatives. Waste discharge stations are operated and managed by residents who are members of the associations. This system enables residents to teach each other how to separate waste, establishing a reliable waste discharge system that is observed by the community. In addition, in order to beautify the community, residents voluntarily clean up the section of the community they have chosen. Residents who are willing to participate are required to apply and register with the local government. Many residents support and participate in this initiative. As a result, after introducing source separation, the city achieved an approximately 80% reduction in disposal waste amount compared to the disposal amount prior to source separation. Shibushi City's landfill site was originally estimated to be full in about 14 years after it started operating in 1990. However, due to the introduction of source separation, the city has secured enough landfill capacity to last until 2050. Furthermore, since 2005, Shibushi City has maintained a recycling rate of approximately 75% compared to the national average of 20%. The collected recyclables are utilized by private companies contracted by the city. For example, sorted kitchen waste is mixed together with finely ground wood and processed to produce compost. Cedar wood waste is purchased from lumber mills. Because crushed wood chips have the characteristics of absorbing odors and moisture, they are mixed with kitchen waste to reduce odor during production process. About 80% of the compost produced over a 6 months period is sold in stores, and 20% is distributed free of charge twice a year at community center and other locations to give back benefits to the residents. The compost business is made possible because of the thriving agriculture industry in Shibushi City, which provides a stable market for the compost. Shibushi City has secured private companies to collect sorted recyclables and has started the separate collection of items that are recyclable. This ensures that sorted items are recycled and that no separated items are left behind. In fiscal year 2021, Shibushi City earned approximately 30 million yen from the sale of sorted recyclables to private contractors. A portion of the income is used to manage the waste discharge stations and to hold the environmental education workshops, thereby ensuring that some benefits are given back to the residents. In addition, the annual waste disposal cost per capita in Shibushi City is approximately 11,000 yen, which is 5,000 yen lower than the national average of approximately 16,000 yen. Shibushi City official reflects on a time when source separation was first introduced in the city.
自分の出したゴミに責任を持つとか、そういう言葉を使いながら市民を説得していってきたということですよ。こんな面倒くさいことをさせやがってというのはありましたけども、それはもう100人が100人私たちの言うことに賛同するとは限らんわけですから、やはり大多数の人が賛成をして、そして少数意見があればそれは丁寧な説明をして協力してもらおうというのを相当努力しないといけないと思いますよね。街をきれいにしたかったら自分がしないといけないからと、自分の背中見せないといけないからと。
To further reduce the final disposal amount, Shibushi City now aims to recycle used disposable diapers, which have been on the rise in recent years. The city officials in charge believes that developing countries can learn much from the Shibushi model, which helps to reduce the final disposal amount through detailed separation into numerous categories and recycling.
途上国もさっき言った通り島処分処理の時代か再利用再資源化ということに僕は入っていくと思うんですよ。早くの分別の大切さに気づけばいいのになとか、途上国の技術力とか経済力とかですね考えたらですね、私たちの今このやっているのが手の届く施策かなと思って。
Since 2009, Shibushi City has accepted trainees from developing countries, and the Shibushi model has been transferred to those countries. The Shibushi model of source separation is a policy that can be easily implemented in developing countries even if they lack financial resources or technical capabilities to introduce incineration. As the efforts of Shibushi City show, the cooperation of residents is essential for the introduction of source separation. In order to make residents understand their responsibilities and take action, the governments need to spend a long time to sincerely deal with residents and waste management, including various efforts to encourage the voluntary participation of the residents. In addition, when introducing source separation, It is necessary to secure a user or a private company to use the collected recyclables without a recipient or a user. Separated materials will end up as a waste instead of resources. In Japan, waste is broadly divided into general waste generated mainly by households and individual waste generated by business activities. 20 types of industrial waste, including rubble and plastics, are designated as industrial waste, and business operators are responsible for their disposal. There was an incident in which a large amount of such industrial waste was illegally dumped and became a problem. The case study of Teshima introduced here shows that monitoring early detection and early response are necessary actions to prevent illegal dumping, and that restoring contaminated areas to their original condition requires a great deal of effort and cost. Teshima Island is located in Seto Inland Sea between Honshu and Shikoku. The island's name derives from its rich natural environment where rice cultivation and fishing are thriving.
春になったらここ山いっぱいに松が緑になってですね、4月の後半から5月にかけてツツジの花が咲いてですね、花見に来てました。その頃手島ではその花見っていうのはツツジでしてました。夕方になって潮が引くとですね、浜へ降りて貝を取ったりですね、いろんなことをして遊んでですね、重箱の中へ、帰りがけには貝を入れて、持って帰っていたというふうな素晴らしい思い出のあるところですが。
Mr. Aki shared his memories with us in this place that has changed completely. One of the largest illegal dumping incidents of industrial waste in Japan occurred on this beautiful island. The incident is known as the Teshima problem. Teshima became so polluted by repeated illegal dumping that it came to be known as Waste Island. The Teshima problem began when a private company applied for a permit from Kagawa Prefecture for operating an industrial waste treatment business on the island. The residents of the island campaigned against the constructions of an industrial waste treatment facility. However, Kagawa Prefecture announced its policy of granting a permit with conditions such as the type and amount of industrial waste to be treated. The residents protested, but the private company's application was accepted. It soon became apparent that the private company was not treating waste properly. Large quantity of scrap metal, waste oil, sludge, and other waste containing toxic substances were transported to the island and illegally dumped. Industrial waste was scattered over Teshima's harbor and roads. Diverse problems occurred such as odor, noise, and vibration from transport vehicles and traffic accidents. In addition, waste was burnt in the open daily, causing a series of health problems for residents in the area. Although the residents repeatedly reported the illegal dumping to Kagawa Prefecture, the situation was never remedied. Finally, police authorities of the neighboring prefecture arrested the responsible persons of the private company. The residents suffered from the effects of the illegal dumping for more than 15 years. The scars of the illegal dumping site that remains today have completely transformed what used to be the beautiful island that Mr. Aki remembers.
28.5 ヘクタールあるんですね、ここ。いっぱいいろんなシュレッダーダストとか鋼材とか製紙汚泥とかいろんなものが残っていますが、この中に手島のものは一粒もありません。すべて島外から持ち込まれたものです。しかもそれは我々は一回も賛成したり同意したりものはありません。
The arrest of the private company officials prompted the residents to apply for environmental dispute conciliation. Environment dispute conciliation is a system based on the Act on the Settlement of Environmental Pollution Disputes, which aims to speedily settle pollution disputes as an alternative to going through court proceedings. In 2000, Kagawa Prefecture admitted that the problem was caused by their failure to properly designate the industrial waste and to provide adequate guidance and supervision. An agreement was made between Kagawa Prefecture and the residents to restore the site to its original condition. In order to quickly resolve the issue, Kagawa Prefecture set up a technical review committee consisting of university professors, experts, and specialists. The committee discussed environmental protection measures related to intermediate treatment and technologies to treat the dumped waste. The committee decided that a treatment facility that melts the waste at high temperature should be constructed. The introduced treatment technology should give first priority to and carefully take the surrounding environment and residents into consideration so that further pollution will not be caused by the treatment of illegally dumped waste.
中間保管とかそういうふうなことを言うわけですが、そういうことではないと。もっと手島より弱いところへそれを押し付けるようなことは絶対するなっちゅう。だからこれを撤去して、燃やして溶かして無害化してで再利用せと。一切その負担のないっちゅうな、そういうことはするなと。手島と同じようなことをするのは第2第3の手島を作るなっちゅうなことで、それで、燃やして溶かして無害化して再利用すると。溶融固化してですね、そしてこういうふうな砂状のもの、シュレッダーダストをこういうふうな形にしてですね、これスラグっていうの、砂と同じようなものにして、でそれを公共事業にして使ったと。
More than 40 years have passed since the illegal dumping started and up to the completion of the removal and detoxification of the waste and contaminated soil, the total amount of waste treated is estimated to be approximately 910,000 tons, and the cost of restoring the site to estimated to be more than 80 billion yen. The huge cost is being paid by the national and prefectural governments. A large amount of taxpayers' money has been used in restoration project. Toxic substances leached from the illegally dumped waste contaminated groundwater with high levels of chemicals such as benzene and trichloroethylene. It was necessary to purify the groundwater of these contaminants by pumping up the groundwater and injecting purification chemicals into the ground through wells for chemical processing. The groundwater quality has been monitored. After confirming that the effluent standards were achieved in July 2021, removal work started for the approximately 360-meter-long impermeable barrier wall that was installed to prevent contaminated water flowing out from the illegal dumping site into the sea. The removal work was completed in March 2022. However, it is expected to take a further number of years before the groundwater quality can meet the environmental standards. After that, the land will be handed over to the residents of Teshima. In order to prevent recurrence of such incidents, Kagawa Prefecture is strengthening the system of early detection and early response to illegal dumping. For example, in cooperation with the police, they systematically conduct area surveillance using helicopters and hold information exchange meeting every year. In addition, a private security company has been commissioned to conduct patrols at night and on holidays, when illegal dumping and open burning are more likely to take place and more difficult to monitor. Regular on-site inspections are conducted on licensed operator to ensure that they are operating in accordance with the terms of their licenses. This demonstrates the importance of measures taken by the government in preventing illegal dumping.
自然海岸というんですか、それに近づけていくようなことを、しかしながら100年ぐらいはかかるんじゃないかと思ってますね。それぐらいの破壊行為と汚染の行為があったというふうに思ってます。
Mr. Aki, who has been dealing with illegal dumping as Secretary General of the Residents' Council, says the following.
やっぱよくここまで来たなと、その先人たちから受け継いだ素晴らしいものっていうのはね、やっぱり引き継いでいかなんだいかんっていうのはね、自分の目で見てですよ、自分の耳で聞いて、自分で考えてですよ、自分の手と足で行動していく以外方法はないっていうんです。誰かが何とかしてくれるってことはありえないっていうね。
The consequences of illegal dumping are immeasurable. The cost and time required to restore the site after the illegal dumping was enormous. In order to deal with illegal dumping, it is important for the government to establish and strengthening a monitoring system to enable early detection of illegal dumping and early response. Monitoring should be periodically conducted by on-site inspections of licensed operators and by sharing information with the police and private monitoring companies. When illegal dumping is identified, it is important to immediately establish a cooperative framework involving experts, specialists, and relevant residents to assess the current status of the illegal dumped waste, and to consider removal and detoxification methods. If illegal dumping is left unchecked, it may cause problems to the surrounding environment. That is why early resolution is required. In addition, the government needs to earnestly respond to illegal dumping when it occurs. For example, by introducing treatment technologies that takes the surrounding environment into consideration so that further pollution will not be caused by the treatment of illegally dumped waste. This problem led to the revision of the Waste Management and Public Cleansing Law in 1991, which tightened regulations, penalties, and government supervisions of private waste disposal companies. Located in the center of the Japanese island, the Kinki region consists of Osaka, Kyoto, Shiga, Hyogo, Nara, and Wakayama prefectures. It is Japan's second largest metropolitan and economic area, serving as the core of Western Japan. The aim of the Osaka Bayside Phoenix project is to provide long-term, stable, regional, and proper disposal of waste generated from the Kinki region. This case study introduces examples of an inter-municipal waste disposal project in the Kinki region that benefit the business operators concerned, as well as the advantages and challenges of inter-municipal waste disposal. The 1960s and 1970s was a period of mass production, mass consumption, and mass disposal due to rapid economic growth, and resulted in a rapid increase in the amounts of waste generated nationwide in Japan. In the Kinki region as well, the economic development and population growth led to a rapid increase in waste. In this region, land was already being densely utilized, and it was extremely difficult to secure land for a landfill site inland. Accordingly, while the amounts of waste were increasing, it was not possible to secure sites for constructing new landfills. The framework for intermunicipal waste disposal played a role in solving this problem. Consequently, municipalities across Japan, which struggled to secure sites for constructing landfills, began requesting for constructions of regional landfills that can be used by a number of municipalities. In response, the national government announced some plans for intermunicipal waste disposal. The Tokyo Metropolitan area, including the capital city and the surrounding prefectures, and the Kinki region were selected as candidates for introducing intermunicipal waste disposal. However, coordination amongst the municipalities of the Tokyo Metropolitan failed, and introduction of intermunicipal waste disposal was abandoned there. Meanwhile, in the Kinki region, the Osaka Bayside Phoenix project was formulated to simultaneously solve two problems: securing a stable landfill site and meeting the demand for the land in the waterfront area. A regional association called the Osaka Bay Regional Offshore Environmental Improvement Center, commonly known as a Phoenix Center, was established to implement this project. The Phoenix Center was in charge of centrally managing the project, including coordination among the related municipalities. The Phoenix Center is responsible for the operation of waste receiving stations and landfills. In addition to subsidies from the national government, the local governments, private companies, and port administrators cover the cost of the constructions and maintenance of landfill sites and waste disposal operation. After the landfill is closed, the site will be handed over to the port administration and used for various purposes, including development of logistics-related facilities. One of the advantages of introducing intermunicipal waste disposal is the reduction of costs borne by municipalities. Due to economies of scale, consolidation of numerous landfill sites into one large regional landfill allows for reducing constructions and maintenance costs per disposal amount. This saves cost compared to the alternative of constructing separate individual landfill sites. In addition, a specialized organization dedicated to waste management can centrally construct and operate the regional landfill site, thereby reducing the workload of the local municipalities. The specialized organization consistently performs tasks such as dealing with the national government, regional organization, and residents related to the landfill site, and implementing environmental measures. On the other hand, there are several challenges to introducing intermunicipal waste disposal system. It takes time to reach a unified decisions to construct and manage a landfill because each participating in municipality has to make decisions based on its own circumstances. In addition, as each municipality is no longer required to secure its own landfill site, the municipalities may lose the sense of urgency to act on reducing the waste amounts they generate, as they need not worry about securing site for their own landfill. It is therefore important to select municipalities that can share a similar approach, attitude, and mindset toward waste management at the planning stage. Any differences may hinder the consensus building for implementing and operating intermunicipal waste disposal. In addition, municipalities with similar social and cultural backgrounds tend to have more similarities, which makes it easier for them to agree on problem identification and build consensus at later stages. Through regional waste management such as the Osaka Bayside Phoenix project, landfill sites can be constructed and operated efficiently due to economies of scale. Centralized management of a landfill site by a specialized organization can reduce the administrative burden on each municipality. However, there are issues as well. For example, it takes longer time for a number of municipalities to make unified decisions, and the sense of urgency to reduce the amount of waste may decrease on the part of municipalities. With the introduction of intermunicipal waste disposal, municipalities were able to secure stable landfill sites and reduce administrative burdens, while port administrators will secure land for future expansion of the port facilities. The mutually beneficial framework for both municipalities and the port administrators enabled the realization of intermunicipal waste disposal. In this educational material, examples are introduced on the role of a government and the importance of consensus building with residents from the case study of the war against waste in Tokyo, the practice of source separation to reduce the final disposal amount from the case study of Shibushi City, measures against illegal dumping from the case study of Teshima problem, and the introduction of intermunicipal waste disposal from the case study of the Osaka Bayside Phoenix project. We need to cooperate and work closely together to properly manage the enormous amounts of waste generated every day in order to realize a more prosperous lifestyle while preserving the global environment. Many municipalities in Japan have developed their waste management systems according to their local characteristics. Although Japan is now a highly experienced country in waste management, it faced many difficulties surrounding waste management in the past. Japan has overcome many of those difficulties by introducing the latest technologies in waste management, as well as utilizing the experiences gained in promoting consensus building. strengthening citizens' participation, and introducing government-led intermunicipal waste disposal. We hope that the experiences of Japan will serve to support developing countries currently facing various problems related to waste management.